Okay, guys, it is now time to do my feed setup. My bag is all tangled and everything. Don't ask me how that happened. I just put it here. My goodness. So much crap. Not even a lot of stuff. Like, my desk is cleaned up. Just a couple cords. My chargers that... I have a couple chargers that I have to interchange depending on what I'm trying to charge. And they all got tangled around the bag somehow. Don't know how. Alright. So we're going to add in all 3 formula to start. And then we're going to add in just 1 mix of protein powder for now. And add more as the day goes on if I feel I need to. We're going to see if I can consume anything like a banana, maybe an apple, that kind of thing. So I want to definitely watch my calories, but I know like full on food, like having any sort of meal, definitely not in the equation today still. Stomach is feeling a lot better than it has been, but I'm still not 100%. And I'd rather not push it. Because I push it, I end up being sick, and that's no fun. And then my tube's going to end up at a place. The more I throw up, the more chances I have of my tube migrating into my stomach. And I don't get that changed for another couple of weeks. And I just don't want to deal with that. I really, really don't. It's 2. Shit. 3. Making a mess as always. I swear, the day that I do this without making a mess, this would be a miracle. I don't know how I always manage to do that. Okay. Get you to stay there. Stay. Alright. Next, 250 milliliters of water. Scoop of Lean Fit plant-based protein powder. My lesson yesterday, not to add multiple scoops to such little water in such a little cup. I just have to pull out my blender this morning to be able to just do it all in one shot, but again, I don't want to use the real blender. Thing's a beast and it's pitch to clean. Wouldn't be bad if I had like a regular full-size sink or bigger than what I've got. But even at the other place, it was a bitch clean. I had a double sink. It's a really good blender. I really do like it, but it's just big and bulky. Do I have like a hole in the bag? Is that why that's leaking now? I don't think so. Alright, so that's all we're going to do for right now. And then, like I said, we're going to see how the day goes on. And I will decide if I'm going to do more protein powder or not. Definitely will add in more water later. Because even on days where I am eating orally and I'm not on the feeding tube at all, I am taking advantage of having access to my feeding tube and keeping myself hydrated with water, as I know I do not drink enough during the day whatsoever, not even close. And that is going to be something I'm going to have to learn how to do for when I get off the tube. And I am working on it. I am. But in the meantime, I'm also just taking advantage and utilizing the tool that I have available to me. Right? And that tool being access to the feeding tube. So we're just going to prime the formula through this now. Last night's water running through it from washing it out. Just about there. Takes a bit. It's a little bit slow. And you may ask, why am I doing this when clearly there's water in it? I could just run it with the water. The water's been sitting in it overnight, and I'm sure it's fine, but I don't know, just preference, I guess. Alright, that's actual formula coming out now. So now we'll hook it up. We're going to also up the speed to normal speed. Because I was using this one overnight, it was set to a much lower speed. Alright. And that's that. So the only other thing I'm going to touch on is that, I can't remember if I touched on it in my last video, but for some reason the picture is really wonky. But I am down another 1.2 pounds from yesterday. I understand that very soon, at any time, I'm going to hit a plateau. I may see, a raise in a pound or two, or, whatever. Weight's going to fluctuate, and I know that, and I'm prepared for that to happen. But seeing that it is still going down, and even if I went up a pound or two, as long as it comes back down again, it's really motivating, and I'm really happy that it's happening. I have a long ways to go. So I know yesterday I said that my goal was 235 for this year. I made a mistake because I wanted to get down 100 pounds from where I started. And where I started was 347 in October. So that means by the end of this year, just end of December, I want to get down to 247. I know that's a bit of an unrealistic and a really big goal to try and reach. And so I do have a backup goal. And that's if I can honestly get into two land, I'll be happy. All right, if I can get into the 200s by the end of this year, I will be happy. Again, I'd really like to push for that 100-pound mark where I get down to 247, hell, even 250, giving myself an extra couple pounds. But I realize that could be a very unrealistic goal, and I'm not going to set myself up to failure. So that is why, at the end of the day, as long as I can get down into the 200s, I will be very happy. I'm not going to stop at that point. That is just my first stop, layover, if you will. And my plan is to get down to 180, and from there, see where I'm at, see how I feel. That's the last time I remember feeling good about myself and good about my weight. I'm sure I'll feel even better if I can get even lighter than that, but that is like my primary focus. That is where my primary end goal is, and I'm going to reevaluate when I get to that point. I know I'm supposed to be, I think, between 120, 130, I think, maybe even lighter than that for my height and age and everything. I don't care. I don't. As long as I can get down under 200 pounds in the very end, that is what will make me happy. Basically, I'd like to, by the time I'm 40, I would like to be in the 100s. So that gives me 3 more years to try and get down to under 200 pounds. And I'm sure if I continue on the track that I'm going, I'll have no issues getting there. It'll just be a matter of maintaining at that point. Thanks for always being here and supportive.